Whether you're someone who designs events, moderates sessions, educates future professionals, or participates in the broader conversation about the future of hybrid experiences, this message is for you. Have you ever joined an online or hybrid event and left feeling more drained than inspired? Perhaps your attention drifted, your eyes grew tired, or you struggled to remain engaged despite the content. That sense of mental exhaustion is what we call digital fatigue, and is quietly becoming one of the most pressing challenges facing the modern event industry. Organizers swiftly pivoted to online and hybrid models to maintain continuity, increase accessibility, and reach broader global audiences. While this shift was essential and in many ways revolutionary, it also introduced an unintended consequence. Events became more focused on platforms and logistics than on people and well-being. Streaming technology, ticketing systems, and online platforms evolved, but the experience of attendees, their emotional and cognitive resilience, was often overlooked. This growing disconnect underscores why this topic belongs firmly within the event's impact and risk management pillar. Digital fatigue and hybrid burnout do not simply represent individual discomfort. They are indicators of systematic design flaws. When attendees mentally check out, when speakers lose momentum, and when moderators feel overwhelmed, the event's long-term value, sustainability, and impact are compromised. In this knowledge clip, we will critically examine the causes of digital fatigue and its link to burnout, drawing from real-world insights, particularly the case of CES 2021, and propose 5 well-supported actionable strategies to counteract them. This knowledge clip is especially relevant for professionals working in the events and experiences industries, planners, coordinators, moderators, educators, and students who are navigating the evolving demands of hybrid formats. If you're seeking to improve attendee experience, rethink engagement strategies, or simply design smarter, more sustainable events, this conversation is meant for you. Now let's understand the problem. Hybrid events, those that combine in-person and virtual attendance, are often celebrated for democratizing access and increasing flexibility. However, hybrid formats require a different mindset altogether. They are not merely digital replicas of physical events. They require new frameworks for attention management, cognitive pacing, and emotional engagements. Cognitive load theory, developed by Sweller, reminds us that the human brain can only absorb a finite amount of information at any given time. When virtual events are dense, poorly paced, or virtually cluttered, they exceed our working memory's capacity, leading to what we now recognize as digital fatigue. This fatigue manifests not only in reduced attention, but also in diminished learning outcomes and increases stress. Meanwhile, burnout theory by Maslush and Jackson explains how sustained cognitive overload and emotional detachments, which are common symptoms of digital fatigue, can lead to chronic stress and long-term disengagement. Burnout, once considered a phenomenon limited to workplace, is now increasingly evident among event participants, moderators, and even event planners. It results in lower satisfaction, higher attrition, and poor past event engagements. When cognitive strain is not addressed and events are designed without adequate mental pacing, the result is more than fatigue. It's a breakdown of the event's social and emotional fabric. Let's turn into the concrete example, CES 2021, the virtual edition of one of the most prestigious global tech expos. In response to the pandemic, CES transitioned to a fully online format. On the surface, it appeared to be a success. Thousands of exhibitors streamed keynote sessions and expansive reach. However, community feedback painted a very different picture. On Reddit and similar platforms, users described this frustration with the virtual experiences. This user shared, "You can't actually get to experience it, or hear it, or touch it, or feel it," underscoring the absence of multisensory engagement. Also, this user lamented the loss of serendipity, referring to the spontaneous discoveries and chance encounters that are central to the live CES experience. This user described networking as forced and lost organic, while this user missed the unexpected collaborations that usually arise from informal conversations. The lack of social texture contributed to a sense of disconnection. Others, like this user, labeled the interface a nightmare, and also this user expressed frustration with poor search functionality and events navigation. Additional users criticized the overwhelming structure of the schedule, noting that sessions were packed tightly together without time to process, digest, or transition. Some reported multitasking or skipping entire sections because the design felt exhausting. A few even expressed regret for attending virtually at all, calling it missed opportunity rather than a rewarding experience. These are not minor complaints. They reveal fundamental gaps in design thinking. When digital spaces fail to replicate the intuitiveness, spontaneity, and emotional vibrancy of physical events, they lead to emotional detachment, frustration, and burnout. Now, what are the solutions? What can we do about it? Here is 5 proven solutions. Number 1, varied content formats. One of the most effective strategies for combating fatigue is content diversification. Switching between keynotes, panels, breakout sessions, audience-driven Q&As, and pre-recorded materials allows participants to engage through different sensory modes and at varying cognitive intensities. This approach reflects Mayer's multimedia learning theory, which suggests that alternating media inputs reduces cognitive strain. Studies by Fisher et al. Show that this diversity improves retention and reduces overload. Albulescu et al. Further supports that content variation prevents fatigue and supports inclusive engagement across neurodiverse audiences. Rather than simply consuming data, attendees become part of the learning experience that accommodates different preferences, reducing the likelihood of fatigue and disengagement. Number 2, incorporate meaningful breaks. Research consistently supports the value of structured pauses. According to the Bennett et al., micro breaks, short intervals between sessions, replenish cognitive resources and improve concentration. Wiederhold advocates for creative breaks such as music-like physical activity or short mediative exercises, which serves as powerful psychological reset tools. These breaks must be carefully designed, not just filler time, but purpose-driven intermissions that respect cognitive rhythms. Strategic pauses allow attendees to recover attention, reflect on content, and return with renewed focus. They also help mimic the natural flow of in-person experiences, where attendees step outside, chat, or refresh. Number 3, use purposeful interactivity. True engagement goes beyond passive observations. Events must be designed to invite participants' reflection and co-creation. Features like live polling, moderated chats, and breakout groups should not be afterthoughts. They should be woven into the session's fabric. Fisher et al. And Jet Webinar both confirm that interactivity fosters a sense of agency, improving emotional investments and reducing fatigue. Brannon and Essex emphasize that synchronous engagement enhances presence and connection. Real-time involvement builds memory, reduces dropout rates, and transforms attendees from passive observers into active participants. This is especially crucial in hybrid formats, where the digital side can feel isolating if interactivity is not well planned. Number 4, improve production quality. While often overlooked, production quality has a direct impact on mental comfort. Poor audio and visual quality demand greater cognitive effort from participants, increasing fatigue. Wiederhold and Sachs of ETAL link poor AV conditions to elevated stress markers, including cortisol. API stresses the importance of clean interfaces, speaker coaching, and streamlined visual design as non-negotiable elements of professional hybrid delivery. Consistent audio levels, sharp visuals, good lighting, and clear on-screen layouts allow for ease of comprehension and trust in the platform. Attendees subconsciously equate production value with professionalism and care, making them more likely to engage. Now, number 5, faster community engagement. The antidote to digital detachment is community. PCMA 2023 and Kim et al. Emphasizes that community building through pre-event networking interactivate session formats, and post-event discussions deepens trust, enhances perceived value, and dramatically lowers the reported fatigue. Creating shared narratives around the events, enabling users to connect before and after sessions, and giving them tools to stay in touch cultivates loyalty and emotional safety. This is especially important in a hybrid settings, where online attendees can feel like second-class participants unless included intentionally. These 5 pillars form a foundation of a more intentional, people-centered hybrid experience, one that recognizes digital fatigue not as a nuance, but as a warning sign of a design failure. So, where did all of these lead us? What actually happened to the events industry after this massive digital transformation? And most importantly, are we back to normal? The shift to hybrid formats has undoubtedly unlocked new potentials in accessibility and reach. However, it has also unveiled a growing, often unspoken crisis: digital fatigue. Far from being a temporary challenge during the pandemic, it has revealed itself as a long-term issue embedded in how we design and deliver digital experiences. The event industry, in its rush to adapt, often overlooked the human limits of screen time, cognitive overload, and emotional detachment. While technology advanced rapidly, the human experience lagged behind. We are not yet back to normal because there is no going back. As we continue to explore the hybrid frontier, we must recognize that the future of events hinges not only on technology, but on empathy, intentionality, and sustainable design. Digital fatigue and burnout are not temporary inconveniences. They are systematic risks that fall under the broader framework of events impact and risk management. We are at the crossroads. We can continue delivering hybrid events that are functional but fatiguing, or we can create experiences that truly resonates with people, fostering energy, connection, and growth. The responsibility lies with all of us, designers, planners, educators, and industry leaders, to evolve our practices. So ask yourself, are your events merely delivering content, or are they cultivating human connection and well-being? Because the events of the future won't just be digital, they will be deeply human.